You don't actually have a money problem. You have a perception problem. You make more than your parents ever did, more than your friends used to, more than you once dreamed of. And yet, every time you check your bank account, something inside you tightens. You feel behind. You feel small. You feel broke, even when you're not. This is called financial dysmorphia, and it's silently controlling your life. Financial dysmorphia is the psychological distortion where your income increases, but your sense of wealth doesn't. It's the same mechanism behind body dysmorphia. Someone loses weight. They look better, but in the mirror, they still see flaws. You make more money, but in your mental mirror, you still see scarcity. Because wealth is not just numbers. It's identity. Let me explain something dangerous. Your nervous system was programmed during your lowest earning years. If you struggled before, if you watched your parents stress about bills, if money always felt temporary, your brain learned one rule: safety equals more. So when you finally start earning more, your brain doesn't relax. It moves the goalpost. You used to think, if I just make $3,000 a month, I'll be fine. Now, you make $5,000, but suddenly, $5,000 feels average. Then you aim for $10,000, then $20,000, and somehow, you still feel broke. Why? Because you're not chasing wealth. You're chasing relief, and relief never lasts. Social media made it worse. You scroll for 5 minutes and see someone your age buying property, another traveling first class, another launching a company, another retiring at 30. Your brain doesn't process context. It processes comparison, and comparison deletes gratitude. So even if you're in the top 10% of earners in your environment, you feel below average. That's not financial reality. That's psychological manipulation. Here's the darker truth. Sometimes, feeling broke becomes addictive. Because if you always feel behind, you always feel driven. The fear of being broke becomes your fuel. So even when you're stable, you subconsciously sabotage satisfaction. You overspend to look successful. You overwork to feel safe. You overinvest to feel ahead. But you never feel secure. Because security was never about money. It was about self-worth. Financial dysmorphia creates 3 silent symptoms. First, you minimize your wins. A raise feels temporary. A bonus feels small. A milestone feels not enough. Second, you inflate your risks. Every expense feels dangerous. Every investment feels like a gamble. Every slowdown feels like collapse. Third, you tie identity to income. If money dips, your confidence dips. If money rises, your ego rises. You become emotionally dependent on numbers. And numbers are unstable. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. If tomorrow your income doubled, would you finally feel rich? Or would your lifestyle expand with it? Better apartment, better car, better clothes, higher standards, more pressure. Most people don't increase wealth. They increase consumption, and then wonder why abundance still feels distant. This is called lifestyle inflation. But psychologically, it's identity inflation. You are not broke. You are measuring yourself against a moving target, and the target was never yours to begin with. It was installed by culture, installed by comparison, installed by fear. Here's what wealthy people understand that high earners don't. Income is loud. Wealth is quiet. Income says, look what I make. Wealth says, look what I keep. Income creates status. Wealth creates freedom, and freedom feels very different from status. Status needs validation. Freedom needs nothing. If you feel broke despite earning well, you might not need more money. You might need a clearer definition of enough, a separation between self-worth and net worth, a financial plan that prioritizes ownership over optics. Because financial dysmorphia thrives in vagueness. When you don't define what secure means, you never arrive. Here's a powerful reset. Instead of asking, how much do I make? Ask, how long can I survive without working? That's real wealth. Not income, not followers, not perception, but time. Time without panic. Time without performance. Time without fear. Most high earners are not poor. They are psychologically unemployed. They don't feel safe unless they're producing. So even rest feels expensive. That's not ambition. That's anxiety wearing a suit. If this is you, understand something important. There is nothing wrong with wanting more. Growth is natural. But when more becomes the only emotional destination, you live in permanent lack, even in abundance. Financial dysmorphia ends when you define your number, you automate your discipline, you detach your identity from income, you build assets instead of applause, and most importantly, you stop outsourcing your sense of success, because the world will always show you someone ahead. That's how the system keeps you consuming. You don't feel broke because you are broke. You feel broke because your mind hasn't caught up to your progress, and until it does, no amount will ever be enough. The most dangerous financial position in the world is not poverty. It's high income with low psychological security, because that person can make millions and still feel like they're drowning. Money is a tool, but perception is the master. And if you don't master perception, you will always feel behind. Even when you're ahead, you're not broke. You're distorted, and distortion is curable, but only if you're honest enough to admit it. If this shifted your perspective, you already know this channel isn't about money. It's about control. Control of psychology, control of perception, control of self, and that is real wealth.